Hey, welcome back to the Simple Man's Workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to make some really cool small chalkboards that I started making out of scrap from other material that I had left over. I built some really large chalkboards and sell them on Etsy, and I had some small chalkboard pieces left over, and I was trying to figure out how to make a profit on them. So I started building these, and then I realized these small ones have a market and they sell. So this is pretty cool. This is a 1 foot by 2 foot piece of chalkboard material with fence picket frame. This is actual brand new fence picket that's been stained with a weathered oak stain. This is cedar fence picket, brand new, that I've ripped and put on here. Those cedar fence pickets don't cost hardly anything at all. But I've also built them with reclaimed fence picket wood, like your local fence guy. Go by him and say, hey, do you mind if I haul that fence off for you? And now you've got a lot of material to make something like this with. I also use pallet wood. I'll take a 2x4 and rip it in 5/8 thickness. Now you got 1.5 inches by 5/8 thick, and you can make these frames also. You have no cost in that whatsoever. The only cost you'll have is your chalkboard material. The big box stores carry a piece of 2 foot by 4 foot chalkboard material for tax and all about $12. So if you divide that by 4, you're looking at $3 of chalkboard right here. So if you don't pay anything else for your frame, you've got $3 invested in this chalkboard, and I sell it for $24.99 plus shipping. So that's a great profit, and it don't take very long to build this at all. So let's get started. I only use like 3 tools for this project. I use the miter saw, a brad nailer with 1.5 inch brads, and a staple gun with 5/8 staples. That's it. That's all I need. I've got a scrap piece of chalkboard that's 12 inches by 24 inches. I took some pallet wood and ripped it down. It's 5/8 thick by 1.5 inch wide. I've got 2 pieces of that. And then I've got 5/8 thick by 1 inch wide to help make the frame. I've got 2 pieces of that. Then I've got a sawtooth hanger. I bought like 1,000 of them a couple of years ago, and I'm still not even finished using all that 1,000. So these cost me like a penny a piece or something like that. They're really cheap. So let's move on. I'm going to show you how to get the sizes for your frame regardless of what size chalkboard material you're using. So let me show you. This piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece are all the same length. And that length is the length of your chalkboard material, 24 inches. So you would need 2 1.5 inch 24 inches and 2 1 inch 24 inches. Now in order to get these two, we need to know the width of the chalkboard material you're using, which is 12 inches. Well, we know 1.5 and 1.5 equals 3 added together. So 12 minus the 3 equals 9. So now we've got 9 inch and 9 inch. We take our scrap from our 24 inch piece and we cut 2 9-inch pieces on the 1.5 inch material. Now these 2 outside pieces, I always wait to the very end after I've assembled everything else so I can pull a measurement across it to get the proper size to make sure it looks nice. All right, I'm ready to cut. So I know that I need 2 1.5 inch by 24s and 2 1 inch by 24s. So I put them all in here together and I butted this to this and flushed it all up. That way everything's flush and my line for my 24 is right here. So I'm going to make my cut. So now I've got my 24 pieces. So what I do now, I will get those out of the way. And I've already got my 9-inch pieces marked. I'm not going to cut these, but my 9-inch is right here. I'm going to turn it like this so you can see that 9-inch mark right there. So all I'm going to do again is slide over here, flush these up to my block, bring it over, line it up with my saw blade right there, hold it. Now there's my 2 9-inch pieces. Now we're going to start assembling the chalkboard. I've got my staple gun with 5/8 staples in it. First thing we do is we look at which side we like the best, which one's going to be exposed to the people. And once we figure out the one we like, we put it face down. I like that one, and then I like this side better, so I'm going to put this one face down right here. We're going to do the same thing with the sides. I like that side better, so I'm going to go face down. I'm going to look at this. I like this side better, so I'm going to go face down. All right, so now by going face down with everything, we're going to flip the chalkboard over. We are going to slide these pieces underneath right here. Then flush this end up right here. See how I'm flushing the end up? Flush it and flush it, and then make sure your space, if there is a space, if it's not perfectly flush, it's fine. But if you have a spacing on either end, make sure it's equal, and then shoot you a staple there. Make sure you're flush on this end. Staple, and then do you a few across, just like that. Now we're going to take this end, we're going to slide it into here and flush it up against the end of this board, just like that, just right there. And we're going to shoot one staple right there. We're going to do the same thing on this end. We're going to slide it up, flush it to the board, hold it in there tight, flush it up, and then shoot a staple right there. The reason we're doing that is so that when I bring this piece in, we can make sure everything lines up. So first thing I'm going to do is flush this up on the ends, make sure they're straight. I'm going to shoot one there. Pull it in tight against your boards. Shoot one there. Now we can bring this in. See how that's sticking out a little? We can bring this in, flush it up, and then staple across here. Now that side's done. We can do the same thing over here. We need to make sure it flushes up nice. That flushes up nice. We're going to shoot. Now we're going to finish across here. Now, those pieces are on. Looks like a sticker. There we go. Those pieces are on. Looks great. Then we're going to put our outside edge on top and our outside edge on bottom. Now the way we do that is we let it sit like this. We're going to line these up like this right here. And same thing, you want to look at what you want to stick out front. So we're going to do that right there. Now we're going to change to our brad nailer. Let me find my brad nailer. There it is. We're going to load the brad nailer up. And let's stand it up. We're going to lay it like that. Flush up the end because it's exactly the same length as your front pieces. So we're going to flush the end up and flush it to the back. Just like that. We're going to shoot one right there. And then let's do the same thing on this side. We're going to flush it up. And it should be flush over here because they're the same length. We're going to shoot one. All right, so we flushed this end up. I shot one in there. Shot one in the center. Now we're going to shoot two more. That's all we got to do right there. Now we got that side on. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take our piece. We're going to evaluate which side's going to look better. Like that's a rough piece right there, so we can put it to the back. And we can flip it over and make sure it's to the back on the bottom. So now let's line this up and flush the end up. Flush the back. Flush the end up. Just like that, shoot you one right there. Now we're going to do the same over here. Flush the back up, and the end should be flush because it's exactly the same length as the other. So we're going to shoot one right there. We're going to shoot one in the center. And then we're going to shoot right there and right there. So now all we have to do is measure this distance. Let me find my tape measure. I Got my tape measure. We're going to measure from here to here, and that looks like 13 3/8. Let's check both sides. They should be identical. 13 3/8. So now we're going to cut two 13 3/8 pieces out of our 1-inch material to tack on each end. I got these two pieces cut. Now I'm going to flush them up on each end, just like that right there. Hold it flush to the top and the end. Try to move on me. Right there. I'm going to shoot one. There. One. There. And there. And there. Just like that. Then we'll do the other side same way. We look at what edge we like. I like that right there. That looks nice. We're going to flush it up. Make sure it's flush to the top and to the end. Like that right there. Shoot one there. 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 And there. Looks nice. In order to put the hanger on, I know this from right here to right here is 24 inches. So I'm going to make a mark dead center of 12 inches right there. And my sawtooth hanger has a center little dot on it. So if I center that dot over that, just like that right there, now I've got my staple gun with 5/8 staples, and I just catch one edge of that staple in that hole, just like that right there, and then I do other side, and now we're good. That sawtooth hanger is on. So I built this chalkboard really quick. It's super easy to build. If you like the Simple Man's Workshop, please subscribe, like this video, and share it. Thanks a lot.